Hey there, Alex here. The Google Pixel is the first smartphone that is made by Google. It is actually built by HTC, but Google is taking the credit for designing the phone from top to bottom. So let's take a closer look at the phone and see what the Google Pixel has to offer. Before we dive in, let's do a quick run through on what the Google Pixel is packing. On the front of the phone, there is a 5-inch AMOLED display at Full HD resolution for the Pixel and a slightly bigger 5.5-inch Quad HD display on the Pixel XL. Both are protected by Corning's Gorilla Glass 4. They're both packing the same 8-megapixel front camera with 1.4 micrometer pixels and f2.4 aperture. On the bottom, there is a USB 3.0 Type-C port, and to the left there is a single bottom firing speaker. The 3.5mm headset jack is at the top. On the back of the phone, there is a 12.3 megapixel camera sensor with 1.55 micrometer pixels, f2.0 aperture, and laser detection autofocus. Just below it, you get the fingerprint sensor, which Google calls Pixel Imprint. Inside the phone, the Google Pixel is packing a slightly downclocked Qualcomm Snapdragon 821 processor with 4GB of RAM. It comes with either 32GB or 128GB of storage and packs the usual sensors and connectivity hardware you'll find on a modern smartphone today. The Pixel has a 2770 mAh battery, and the larger Pixel XL has a 3450 mAh battery. Looking at the spec sheet of the phone, this looks pretty much like your typical Android flagship device. It's actually missing a few key hardware features for me, but we'll talk about that later. What I want to start with are the things I love about the Google Pixel. At the top of my list would be the software experience of the phone. Everything is so smooth and responsive. From something simple like navigating around the interface to playing graphically intensive games on the phone. Part of it is probably just down to its hardware, but I believe the other part is Google's attention to detail when it comes to software. The phone is pretty much running a stock version of Android, except for a new Pixel launcher. I love the way the launcher looks and the way you access the app drawer. There are these little touches too, like how easy it is to check for notifications on the phone, launch the camera, or access the notification shade. It may not have as much customization options as other Android phones, but it gets the basics right, and that to me is more important. Another important thing is that being a Google phone, it's going to get fast and consistent software updates directly from Google. Google only promises 2 years of software updates with security patches continuing for another year. While that isn't as good as Apple's software support, it's still better than other manufacturers. Size options is something that I think Google got right with the Pixel too. You can pick up the smaller Pixel like I did, or the bigger Pixel XL, and the only differences are the screen size, resolution, and battery capacity. The Quad HD screen on the Pixel XL would probably work better for virtual reality headsets, but the Full HD screen on the Pixel still looks pretty great for everything else. The smaller battery on the Pixel can still last me a day of use pretty comfortably with great standby battery life. It's great that I'm not getting any significant downgrades for wanting a smaller phone that I can use one-handed. The camera on the Pixel might not look that great on paper with the lack of optical image stabilization, but it's actually one of the Pixel's strengths. This is pretty much a camera that you can just point and shoot and trust it to get great looking images most of the time. I highly recommend leaving HDR+ in auto mode so Google can work their software magic. In challenging lighting conditions, HDR+ is still able to retain a lot of the details and color information in the shot, giving you great looking images even in low light conditions. When it comes to video recording, by tying the camera to the sensors on the phone, it's able to produce some amazing looking software stabilization. That is provided lighting condition is good though. With a camera as good as the Pixel, I find myself taking more images than I normally do. But something that I don't have to worry about is running out of space, because with the Pixel, I get free unlimited full resolution backups through Google Photos. It's not just a great way to save storage on the phone, but also to make sure I don't lose any important photos if the phone gets damaged in water or whatnot. Which brings me to the things I don't love about the Pixel, with the first being the lack of any form of water resistance. It is rated IP53, but that's only protection against minor sprays or splashes. With Samsung and even Apple providing actual water resistance on their phones, it's harder to justify the lack of it. I also want to talk a little bit about the design of the phone. While the look of the Pixel has grown on me a little, It's still a pretty boring design that is clearly inspired by past HTC devices. For one, the bezels are kind of huge on the phone, especially the chin. It would have been a great place to place a second speaker, like what was on the Nexus 6P, but instead there's only a single firing speaker at the bottom of the phone, which doesn't sound that great. I could overlook these flaws if the phone was priced lower, but the Google Pixel starts at $649 for a 32GB pixel. That is $150 more than the Nexus 6P, putting it in iPhone 7 territory, which is arguably a more complete hardware package with water resistance, stereo speakers, and optical image stabilization. The limited availability of the phone also meant that I have to either import the phone myself or get it from a reseller, both of which incurs extra cost and leaves me without local warranty. Don't get me wrong, I love the Google Pixel and I think it's the best Android phone that money can buy now. But for those of us living in countries where the Google Pixel is not being officially sold, I'm not entirely sure it's actually worth it, unless you're a hardcore Android fan. For Google's first attempt, it's a solid effort, but I already can't wait to see what the next Pixel will bring. Hopefully, this time I'll be able to buy the phone officially in Singapore. Thank you guys for watching the video, hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, be sure to give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys and see you on the next one.